In short-term rentals, control is the real competitive advantage. Control over your bookings, control over your guest experience, control over how your business grows in 2026. Lodgify gives rental operators the tools to build direct booking websites, automate guest communication, and manage every channel from one platform without adding complexity. This is how rentals stop feeling reactive and start feeling more intentional. Skift Daily Briefing listeners get 20% off any yearly or bi-yearly Lodgify plans with code SDB20, available through March 2026. Details are in the show notes.
Welcome back to the Skift Daily Briefing. It's Tuesday, February 24th. I'm Sarah Dandashi, and today we're covering a very airline-heavy weekend, plus what could become a major new speed bump for international business travel to the U.S. Let's get into it. Well, first off, we couldn't start this week without talking about what chaos was happening with airlines over this weekend. Shutdown whiplash, blizzard cancellations, Puerto Vallarta chaos. So if you traveled this weekend, congratulations, you basically earned a merit badge. And by the way, I was right there with you. First, we had mixed messaging around TSA PreCheck during the partial government shutdown. DHS said that TSA PreCheck and global entry operations would be suspended. But TSA later reversed course, saying PreCheck remains operational. And it did, with no change for the traveling public, while noting that they'll adjust if staffing constraints worsen. Then the Northeast got walloped. Airlines canceled more than 7,000 flights on Sunday and Monday as the blizzard ramped up, with New York City airports among the hardest hit. And then, of course, in Mexico, multiple airlines suspended flights to Puerto Vallarta after unrest erupted following the killing of a major cartel leader, with U.S. officials urging travelers in affected areas to shelter in place and minimize movement. My take with two practical reminders. One, have a plan B for reentry. I used the mobile passport control app on Sunday and it made U.S. entry an absolute breeze. One of those, why doesn't everybody do this sort of moments? So make sure that you have that. Secondly, status actually matters when things go sideways. I actually had to help a colleague rebook his flights back to New York, and he wasn't able to get through. But because I had status, I was actually able to get the airline on the phone within minutes versus hours for him. So this is where status really, really matters. It's also worth noting that even with the chaos in Puerto Vallarta, I personally was in Cabo, and it was pretty much business as usual, which is not to say that you shouldn't be aware of your surroundings and the news, but it's a good reminder not to assume that every destination in every country is experiencing the same reality on the same day. Next up, Oneworld is appointing Ole Over, most recently Finnair's chief commercial officer, as its next CEO starting April 1st. Skift reporting has found that alliances are under pressure as joint ventures and custom partnerships blur the old lines. So Oneworld is leading into tech collaborations and tighter commercial coordination to prove that the alliance model still matters. The bottom line from this is that alliances don't win on logos anymore. They win on shared tech, loyalty value, and a smoother premium experience across partners. And our final headline here, which we've covered before, but things seem to be ramping up. Proposed U.S. entry requirements really could disrupt meetings and events, which ultimately affect our bottom line and our economy. Meeting planners are watching a CBP proposal closely, one that could require visa waiver travelers to use ESTA to disclose 5 years of social media accounts, extensive family information, and other personal data, with trade groups warning that this could drive meetings out of the U.S., understandably so. GBTA data cited by Skift showed that 43% of respondents expect companies may hold more meetings outside of the U.S. if the changes go through, with major privacy and compliance concerns, especially in Europe with GDPR expectations. The bottom line, even the idea of heavier screening can chill demand, and the U.S. can't afford to make entry feel like a paperwork obstacle course right before global mega events. Well, that's it for your Skift Daily Briefing for Tuesday, February 24th. For more on these stories, head to skift.com, and for the newsletter and to be sure to get this daily, head to skift.com/daily. Thanks so much for listening.